Good day, year four. Hope you're all doing well. Today, we're going to be looking at dividing by 10 and 100. And if you can remember last week, we looked at multiplying. But before we go ahead and looking at dividing by 10 and 100, we're going to do our fast five questions. All of this work you have covered already. So pause the video for up to 5 minutes. Pause now. Well done. And you can see here are your answers, 2,300. First one, 20,000 for the second, 5,287 for the third, 4,809 for the fourth, and finally 4,104 for the final answer. So looking really forward to doing this now today. So we start off by dividing by 10. And the first calculation we look at is 30 divided by 10. And as you can see, I have placed the numbers again in place value columns. I find it if I'm struggling or I'm still learning how to divide by 10 or 100, I find it a bit easier to place it in the columns so I can see how the numbers move. You can see over here we have digits move one space to the right this time, so they're moving in the direction of the arrow. And in this case over here, we have 30 divided by 10. So the 3's start off in the tens column and the 0 placeholder is in the ones column. And you can see they only move one space to the right. The 3 goes into the ones and the 0 goes into the tens. Now between the ones and the tens, there is a point. And that is why you see those points over here. The answer, both are correct. You could either just write it as 3 or you could write it as the 3.0. Okay, in the case of the next one, we have 46 divided by 10. You can see the 4 has moved from the tens to the ones, one space, and the 6 has moved one space to the tens. And in this case over here, the answer is 4.6. You're just moving one space to the right. Over here we have 78 divided by 10. Why don't you have a go? Pause the video now. Well done. Again, you can see the 7s were in the 10s column, the 8s were in the ones column, and so they moved across one space to the right. And therefore the answer is 7.8. Now, we're going to look at dividing by 100 as well. Remember, before I go ahead, actually, you can obviously rewind the video to go over the steps for dividing by 10 if you need to do that. But we're moving on now, dividing by 100. So we have 7,100 divided by 100. And again, I've placed my numbers in columns because, as I said, it's easier for me to see how the numbers move. The big difference here is because of those two zeros, the numbers move two spaces to the right. And that's really quite important. They move to remember. Now the numbers move two spaces to the right. So the 7 moved from the thousands to the tens. The ones moved from the hundreds to the ones. So the 1 in the hundreds, 7,100 moved to the hundreds to the ones, and the zeros moved across two spaces as well. So the answer over here is 71, or it's accepted for 71.00 as well. You have a step number, which is 4,350 divided by 100. As I said, because you're dividing by 100, the digits move two spaces to the right. So the 4, which was in the thousands column, now moves through to the tens. The 3, which is in the hundreds column, moves to the ones. The 5, which is in the tens column, now moves across into the tens. So the answer is 43.5. You can say 43.50, but there's no need for that. So here we have 8,590 divided by 100. Why don't you have a go and see if you can get the correct answer? Pause the video. Well done. Here we can see 8,590. And you can see the 8 has moved across as well. The 5 has moved 2 spaces across, and so has the 9. And therefore your answer is 85.9. Now, as I said early on, if you need to go through the parts of this video again, you can just rewind and go through those steps again and have a bit of a practice. Okay, so we are now coming on to the activities. And you can choose any activity you want, but you only need to do one. Again, here's a reminder, when you divide by 10, the digit moves one space to the right. When you divide by 100, the digit moves two spaces to the right. Okay, as I said, if you need to use the place value columns, that is a good idea to see then how the numbers move across. And if you don't need it, then obviously you can do it without the place value columns. There will be one on the sheet if you need one. Okay, take care then. Bye bye.